Hi, I'm John Petersen, and this is PostScript, coming to you from Berkeley Springs, West Virginia. PostScript is a production where we bring very interesting speakers who come to our small town here in West Virginia to talk about aspects of the future. They come as part of a speaking series that the Arlington Institute sponsors called Berkeley Springs Transition Talks. And what we try to do is bring folks who can speak to the extraordinary kind of change that's happening in the world these days from many different kind of points of view and perspectives. Today we're happy to have Mike Waters with us today, Michael Waters. Mike is an extraordinary kind of inventor and futurist and strategist who thinks about where the future is going in quite different terms. He's an engineer and he comes from a technical kind of background, and you don't get there from here without some kind of tools, without technology. And so it's an integral part of how human beings deal with large-scale change. So Mike, it's nice to have you with us.
Pleasure.
Thanks for coming. I'm interested in, we've had a number of discussions over the months about different things that you're interested in, and I've been impressed with some of the kind of inventions and things that you've worked on. Tell us about some of the most interesting ones that you're working on these days.
Well, one of my favorite, simply is the child in me, is the VTOL, the electric vertical takeoff aircraft.
Vertical takeoff and landing, VTOL, yeah.
VTOL, right.
Yeah.
I think people look at quadcopter as a term more these days, but now
this is a full-size airplane, right?
It's a full-size airplane.
Yeah, this is not, we're not talking about little drones. No, right.
Well, I've been a pilot all my life. I've flown all kinds of crazy things. And this, to me, is the ultimate toy. But there's also a more serious side to it, and that is promoting breakthroughs in energy.
Yeah, but now this is an electric airplane, right?
Yep.
That makes it different.
Yep.
It takes off vertically and flies.
Wherever you want.
For how long?
Well, that's where it gets interesting.
Yeah.
How far, how fast, how long, and that is where the advanced technologies come in.
Well, how long will it fly?
Well, depending on the technology we use and politics, anywhere from 1,000-mile range or more to a lot longer.
How much longer?
Well, the potential is for almost
unlimited.
I
built an airplane that'd go 1,000 miles.
Oh yeah, I know.
So I mean, come on.
That was an amazing plane.
Yeah,
right. Pressurized and all the rest of it. With the kinds of energy technologies we're talking about today, you could have potentially, well, effectively unlimited range and duration.
No, wait. Unlimited range,
right.
Electric airplane. It takes off vertically and then just goes.
Out of your backyard, wherever you want to go, and any size. You know, when you get into electrics, everything becomes a lot simpler. And there's a couple of examples out there of people starting.
And when can I buy one of these?
As soon as it's funded.
Well, how far away would, I mean, let's say I showed up with the X millions of dollars that's required to make this thing go. Right. Are we a couple years away or something?
Oh, we could have it flying within a year.
Could fly within a year, and that's a relatively small one, 2-place or 1-place.
Yeah, test phase would be 1 and 2 seat.
Yeah, and one presumes then that the technology, particularly energy or the drivetrain technology, would be applicable to land vehicles?
Anything, right. It's
anything, he says, just anything.
The emergence of electric transportation is really what we're talking about.
Yeah, but this is, I mean, this is not Elon Musk. This is Elon Musk's plus, you know, kind of, right?
Evolution.
Well, it's evolution, but you're on to something that is really extraordinary here. In that we're not just plugging a vehicle into the wall and we're charging up batteries. What's happening? Where are you getting the power to run this thing?
Well, there's a couple of things. We can look at it through conventional physics and then more advanced physics without getting technical. First of all, we've got the inevitable evolution of batteries. Now, for the last decade or so, we've been pretty much stuck with lithium polymers as the choice. And I'm working with several technologies, so one in particular where we're about to have a 4 to 5 times increase in power density and weight.
Over what typically, you know, like this Elon Musk's battery wall thing?
Yeah, so if you were to put one of these batteries in a Tesla, you'd have over 1,000-mile range, and the cost of the batteries would be more than 5 times less.
5 times less?
Right.
1/20th, or I mean, 1/20th.
Five times more density, 5 times less cost.
That's extraordinary.
Well, it's a tipping point. Right now, most advanced electric cars like the Tesla have about a 200 to 300 mile range.
Right.
And that's not devastatingly competitive with a gas engine. But once you start getting over 1,000-mile range,
Well, of course.
well, now you don't need this dense infrastructure of filling stations and all the
You
rest
can
of it.
drive, you know, half the way across the country almost
Right.
without filling up, as it were. And then how long does it take to charge it or fill it up or something?
Well, at that level of technology, and there's a number of reasons for this, but essentially the fast charge capability would be there too, because we're bridging the gap between batteries and capacitors.
Right.
And capacitors charge very, very quickly.
Very quickly.
Exactly.
So you could go in and have a sandwich and plug it in and charge it, and when you got back to go another 1,000 miles.
Yeah.
Everything changes.
Yeah.
Everything changes because of course it doesn't stop there. It goes throughout everything that's a battery or that uses modular or mobile electricity or portable kind of devices.
And as a futurist, studying ramifications, it really is a cascade effect it's like going from the horse to the automobile. One change affects another.
So one presumes that if you've got an airplane that's flying forever, that you've got some kind of a charging mechanism that is replenishing this, right?
Well, then we get into more exotic physics.
Do minor exotic to us. Tell us a little bit about it.
To me, the most important thing that I've learned, I'm not the only one to make the discovery, but it is still a fairly small group. Most of the world believes in this thing called the closed system.
Right.
In fact, our most fundamental laws are based on that concept.
That's right.
Well, over the last 15 years, I came across technology after technology that seemed to be outside that box.
So explain this closed system thing. It says that
Right.
energy in is energy out and all that kind of stuff. Kind of explain it.
I've had to get pretty direct at this because to explain it to conventional academia, you've got to be direct and it's got to be logical.
Right.
And it's interesting, finally, after all these years, I can pretty much convince any physicist. I've got a 100% success rate within about 2 minutes. What it comes down to is this. This closed system is an assumption based on the world we believe we live in. But in reality, this is a world of infinites.
Okay, but a closed system is what? A closed system presumes that what?
Well, let's talk about one of our most fundamental laws.
Yeah.
Law of energy conservation.
Right.
It goes, in a closed system, energy can neither be, right.
So it's a system that's isolated from the larger reality, right? And that all of the operations of the things are limited to that particular piece of geography, whatever it is, however it's defined, right?
Well, it's a general assumption of this entire reality that we have a closed system physics. So that closed system it's sort of like we're looking at energy like it's a thing. So if you put something in a box, you can't get more out of that box than you put in it. It's a very
Yeah,
primitive.
but it's like saying that this exists by itself. It is a system that it starts and ends right here, and it starts and right.
Right.
And so then you're trying to describe what happens inside of this and not in the open system
Right.
that's out around it.
Yes, it's sort of like a gallon of gasoline. It is a gallon of gasoline, and let's talk about energy density, because that's really the main thing. The definition of a closed system, this is where the problem is. And remember, this is a very, very important thing. It's affected our entire civilization. Right. Closed system laws are our most fundamental, and all of our science is based on it.
Right.
All our technologies, all our civilization, even our cultural behaviors, everything. So this is
really key. This is very important.
This is a huge deal.
The whole paradigm, the whole way
Everything.
in which we see reality,
Everything.
That we make sense out of reality,
is based on a mistake.
Okay, a mistake.
A mistake. A mistake.
A mistake.
There is no such thing as a closed system.
Okay.
Let me explain why. Very,
Okay.
very simply.
All right.
Richard Feynman,
Yeah,
well-respected
sure.
physicist,
Famous
said,
physicist.
there's more energy in an empty coffee cup
Right.
than you need to boil all the oceans of the world.
Sure.
Talbot and Bond, two others, that there was more energy in 1 cubic centimeter.
Sure, and a sugar cube in front of your face than all the known matter in the universe.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So very interesting statements from very well-respected scientists. Well, what the definition of a closed system is where the whole mistake has been made. By definition, a closed system must remain energy constant regardless of scale. That's just the definition of a closed system. So it doesn't matter how big you are, the density, just like the density of a battery, must remain constant, or it's not a closed system. In reality...
So explain what that means. So if I have a little battery, it's different from a big battery, or what does that mean?
But the power density remains the same.
The power density, the amount of power in the volume.
Per cubic, whatever.
For the volume,
Right.
okay.
Right. Very, very simple. Well, here's the problem. All evidence from all our research in our science shows that energy density increases as size decreases. Now, this is very, very important because...
So give me an example of that. What does that... What gets bigger when you make it smaller?
Right. Chemical reactions.
Oh.
Gasoline.
Sure.
Big. Nuclear reactions. Tiny.
Yeah.
Orders of magnitude more powerful.
Got it. Okay.
Matter, antimatter.
All right.
Far more powerful than nuclear. Now here's the problem. There's no such thing as smallest. There isn't. Okay, so you zoom in and you zoom in and you go, oh, there's the smallest thing in reality. Oh, wait a minute, what's that little thing sitting on it? Oh, okay, zoom in on that. Now that's oh no, wait a minute, there's something sitting on it.
Yeah.
Infinity is also a concept for the very small. And it's very hard, it's as hard for people to grasp as it is.
I mean, that's what CERN, this thing, is trying to do, find these particles that are smaller and smaller and so on.
Keep on going, right?
Yeah.
And it turns out that really the things that tie the large and the small are concepts more like resonance and harmonics and ratios, like the golden mean, phi spiral. Those are how we communicate between scales. So his observation of reality, that energy density increases as size decreases, that defines an open system. It means that, as Feynman said, there's more energy in an empty coffee cup.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So therefore, when you look at something like fuel,
right,
you're transporting what's already everywhere. Because at every point in reality, you have this energy inversion, which increases as size decreases. So the actual ability for a closed system like this to exist is impossible, because inside that box is an open system where energy density increases as size decreases. It's quite funny, but it's also...
So you're saying a tank of gasoline has no more energy, ultimate energy in it, than this same size kind of relative of this book?
The energy inversion says that to think of a toothpick having less energy than a Mack truck is not is nonsensical.
Right.
Because if energy density increases, if it's an infinity concept, it means that energy itself is an infinite concept and only matter is a finite concept.
So it means everything is energy.
Everything is energy.
And so, and it's all interacting, or it all arises from the same base, all of the same stuff. So it's all the same stuff, just configured in different ways, right?
Yeah.
All right. So how do you
Cool.
get out of it? How do you make the airplane fly forever?
Okay, then we get into how we access this, right?
Okay.
And first you have to shake off some of the preconceived notions that the closed system sort of embeds in your mind as an engineer or a scientist. And what I found, because as I started to see some of these things, I got into both energy and alchemy, for instance, which is a whole other subject.
That's weird.
It's all the same.
Oh, no.
It turns out it's all resonant phenomenon.
So this is all very confusing, Mike. But go ahead, please.
Yeah, right.
So it's alchemy.
There's lots of ways to tap it. Let's look at water. We've probably all heard of somebody claiming they could run a vehicle on water. I mean, Stan Myers was one example.
Right.
It was really telling to me when I traveled around this country for a number of years. I've been at this for about 15 years. It all started in 2000. But it seemed that every city I went to, I ran into a story of somebody that had developed a vehicle that ran on something,
Right.
water, vapor of gasoline,
Right.
The 200 mile per hour carburetor.
Right.
I ran into this everywhere I went. There were more people that had seemed to have done this than made sense. There's over 550 vapor carb patents, for instance.
Sure, Mercedes-Benz had something 15, 20 years ago, yeah.
I traveled all over. I come back to my home base, the local airport, and I talked to a friend, and he goes, "Oh yeah, my buddy bought this V8, 454 muscle car, and it got like 60 miles per gallon, and he was approached a number of months later, and they took the car back, and he got a free car for the next 10 years every year as a payment, right?"
Who took the car?
They.
They took Oh no. Okay.
Let's not go there.
All right.
But let's look at water as a fuel. The mistake in conventional physics is, you can't get more energy out of water than you put in because electrolysis shows that. We're taught that in school.
Electrolysis is the separation of hydrogen and oxygen in the water molecule. Okay.
But you're not using it as a fuel. This is where you have to jump from closed to open. In open system physics, the atoms are not being destroyed. When you burn a gallon of gasoline, you're not making atoms disappear. They go from a liquid
state to
right
another
up into
state.
the,
Right. It's a state change.
Maybe if you're lucky, 5% of it moves you down the road.
It's like water going from liquid to ice to vapor. It's a state change.
Right. So the only concept jump you have to make is that the water is being used as an amplifier, not a fuel.
How interesting.
It's a resonant structure which allows you to
the
tap
underlying energy system to be concentrated or amplified or defined in a particular way, right?
And a very good example in nature, funnily enough, is the pistol shrimp.
The what?
Pistol shrimp.
Oh. Okay. All right. I bite. What's the pistol shrimp?
It's a little shrimp with a big claw, and it's fascinating. You can see videos of this online. It cocks its claw and then snaps it closed so fast that it sends out a shock wave of a bubble of air which collapses so fast that it momentarily reaches a temperature hotter than the surface of the sun.
Underwater
And stuns its prey, which happens to be another shrimp, usually.
And then they,
And
the shrimp eats the shrimp.
And then,
Yeah.
and life goes on, right?
Wow.
But
Wow.
in that split second, you see this incredible flash of sonoluminescence, and what it is that bubble is imploding so fast, going down some,
Yeah.
you know,
Sonoluminescence
so fast,
is sound
you get
that's
this
coming together.
massive
Yeah.
release. It literally explodes a point inside that liquid.
Wow. So you can direct that kind of at his
Yeah,
other shrimp.
bang, food.
Wow.
So,
And the point is,
well, he's using water as a resonant amplifier.
So
No atoms were killed in this.
it's a green green process. That's great.
They might have been alchemically shifted, but
So can you know how to do that in other
Yeah.
scale? So how do you do that?
well,
I mean,
you know, in conventional physics,
without
we
the
think
shrimp.
nuclear as being big, you know, CERN or power plants. But there's a growing movement of what they call LENR, low energy
Linear.
nuclear reactions.
Right.
And this is just one way. There's lots of other
Sure.
ways to resonantly. Is that a
But
word?
this is cold fusion stuff, kind
That's
of, right?
one-
I mean,
one
that's what
perspective.
people might recognize.
But there's this incredible overlap between cavitation, which is what the
which
pistol
is what
shrimp
you
does,
talk about.
cold fusion, HHO, which is one of the gas forms of water, hydrogen and oxygen in a,
Two hydrogens in one, but it's a different
but
configuration.
it's a gas that detonates.
It's not H2O, it's HHO. Okay.
Charged clusters. That it turns out the water has all these different states.
There is even, Jerry Pollock is talking about what there's a fourth,
yes.
a new state of water.
Pollock.
And then something that just came out, by the way, this last week, a report about a new state of light.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's all related, of course.
So how do you make the collapse without the shrimp and all?
Oh, well, you get this big claw.
A spring.
Put
and
it in
big
a
spring,
box.
And a big spring. Yeah, right. Giant spring.
But actually, it's not that different.
How do you do it?
There's lots of different
How
ways.
do you do it? Come
One
on.
company, Nanospire, for instance,
Yeah.
has developed a technology on controlled cavitation in water. And they're getting excess heat release as
I
a
see.
result. And in their early experiments, they actually had problems with radiation. They were getting gamma, which obviously is a telltale signal of alchemic reaction.
What's that mean?
Well,
Alchemic
okay, well,
reaction.
it's very simple again, okay? We think in the chemical world other than those nuclear things that nuclear scientists do, right? But in reality, when you look at it from a resonant perspective, chemical reactions we normally think of as heat reactions, but that's just another form of frequency. Nuclear reactions can operate the same way, in a resonant fashion. There was an alchemist, David Hudson, or rather a researcher, discovered
monatomic gold.
monatomic elements, and the fifth state of matter, I call it. You have solid,
Single
liquid.
atom kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
You have solid, liquid, gas, plasma,
Yep.
most of the universe is plasma, and then you have Orme state material.
Huh.
That's what he rediscovered, right?
Right. So it's another state of matter that he's essentially.
There was one fascinating paragraph in a lot of his work that I found, and he essentially said that if you use the right frequency with the nucleus, that you can get the natural oscillation of that nucleus to expand beyond the what they call the strong force barrier that holds the nucleus together. Well, basically, what it means is you start with one element and you end up with another one.
Alchemy.
Alchemy.
Okay.
But then that happens in a nuclear power plant every day, right? That's an alchemic reaction,
Sure.
right? It's just that we think you have to do it by using big hammers.
Yeah.
But
all
in
kinds
reality,
of-
you can do it by singing to it, like an opera singer cracks a wine glass.
Well,
So resonance again.
Well, what we
harmonics.
want to do in the second segment of this, we'll come back here and I want to talk about your kind of worldview and where this all goes and what the implications and where this all could be, because this is really fundamental kind of stuff. I mean, we're running up this exponential curve of development and discovery and technology and stuff that is taking us to a new world that is going to operate in really different ways, and we're going to have airplanes that fly forever on electricity and and all that stuff.
That's pretty crazy.
So, Mike Waters, thank you for being with us.
Sure.
This is PostScript, and it's brought to you from Berkeley Springs, West Virginia, and I'm John Petersen from the Arlington Institute.